If you've ever told yourself, I just need to get these cookies, the crackers, the popcorn, the chips, whatever it is, out of the house so I will stop thinking about them and stop eating them, you are in the right place. Maybe you're more someone who finishes lunch and is immediately looking for something sweet, or you eat when you're not hungry just because food is around, constantly trying to be good, but you ruin it on the weekends. If any of this resonates, keep listening because today's video is for you. I'm going to share a client story that will probably feel very familiar. And more importantly, though, I'm going to show you exactly what's underneath these behaviors because it's not a lack of willpower or need for more self control, and what I did to help this client fix them. So, when we started working together, my client Dana was in this constant mental battle with food. At our first meeting, I still remember she told me, I just need something sweet after every meal, and even if I'm not hungry and I don't know why. She was like, I try to stop myself, but I can't. She was constantly doing this mental gymnastics about what she could or couldn't eat based on other meals or what was upcoming. And she couldn't seem to ever pass on desserts when they were offered, but always felt guilty afterwards. Now, Dana loves food. She loves to cook. She loves to try new restaurants, and she was tired of restricting. She'd spent many years yo-yo dieting, and she really wanted to be able to enjoy all of her foods, but in a balanced way. The problem was is that she wasn't enjoying food anymore. She was constantly stressing about it. But now, just 4 months after we first met, she's in a totally different place. She hasn't overeaten in months. She is no longer seeking dessert after every meal. And best of all of that mental chatter, the guilt, the food noise that she just was so bogged down by has subsided. Before we started working together, she spent years on and off every diet out there: Weight Watchers, Noom, calorie counting, intermittent fasting, you name it, she probably had tried it. And she would also second guess hunger a lot. There were times that she'd feel hungry at 11:30 a.m., but it wasn't time to eat lunch because lunchtime is at noon or 12:30. And she thought, I just shouldn't be hungry yet. So she would push off her hunger. And then by the time she did eat, she found herself eating quickly, overate, and then she'd feel guilty afterwards. She felt like she knew what she needed to do to be healthy, but she couldn't seem to stick to it anymore. And from the outside and what she thought, this looked like a self control problem. But once I dug further, it wasn't at all. It was a result of scarcity and under fueling. Now, even though she wasn't officially dieting anymore, her brain was still operating from years and years of dieting, from saving up points, from eating less today because she fell off track yesterday, from trying to limit certain foods. When your brain feels like food is limited, it creates urgency. And this is why it's really hard to stop eating even when you're full, or why you eat things just because they're there. When you think, I'll be better tomorrow, your brain immediately goes to get it all in now because this is going away. And when you override hunger cues by telling yourself that it's not time to eat, that sets off this cascade of signals in your body that can actually lead to the overeating, the sweet and carb cravings, and feeling like you eat just because food is there, even if you're not hungry. So instead of giving her more rules or expecting her to find more discipline because that wasn't the cause of her problems, we did 3 things. Number 1 is that first we made sure that she was consistently fueling her body with enough protein, with enough carbs, and with enough fat to feel full and satisfied. This is a game changer for those sweet and carb cravings and for that behavior of picking when food is just around. The second thing we did is we worked on reconnecting with her hunger cues. So she learned what earlier signs of hunger felt like in her body so that food was no longer urgent. We also had to work on quieting that thought of just wait to eat because if you eat now, you'll be hungry sooner, right? Or if you wait to eat, you'll eat less overall because your lunch will be later. But none of that was actually true. So once we rewired that thought process, she was allowing herself to eat when she was hungry. This allowed her to stop when she was full. The third thing we did is that we worked on that scarcity mindset. We had to remove that scarcity. She learned permission to eat all foods, and not in this way of eat whatever you want whenever you want, but we actually rewired how she thinks about food and took away that now or never feeling that she had constantly. And that allowed herself to decide how she wanted to feel after a meal and actually respond to that. Now, on a recent call, she actually kind of summed this up so nicely. She said, the permission to eat has actually allowed me to be more discerning. She's like, there's no restriction, and that feels so freeing. I always tell my clients, the permission to say yes to a food gives you the permission to say no. That's essentially what she experienced. This is what changed everything for her. And then she went on vacation, and it was totally different from a year ago. In the past, vacation was a break from being good and from all the rules, and she would eat anything and everything. This time, she said, I ate what I wanted, but I actually found myself passing on a lot of things just because I wasn't hungry or they didn't sound good. And she said, I'd never done that before. For example, she looked at a menu and thought, I could have the croissant, which I love, but actually a breakfast sandwich with avocado and veggies sounds better, and I know I'll feel better afterwards. She ordered the sandwich, ate half, and then stopped and left the rest on her plate because she was full and satisfied. She also found herself taking a few bites of dessert and stopping because it either wasn't that satisfying or because she was full. The best part, though, isn't just the more control around food, which of course is amazing, right? But it's that the food noise, the mental math, the second guessing, the guilt, all of that quieted. She told me that for the first time in her life, food doesn't run the show. She's no longer overly focused on food, and that's allowed her to focus on everything else going on around her. Food is no longer constantly on her mind. Now, if you're listening to Dana's story and resonate with some of her original experiences, the planning, the saving, the I'll be good tomorrow, so the automatic need for something sweet after a meal, I promise you this isn't because you need more willpower or more discipline. You don't need someone to tell you what to eat. What you do need is more permission and to make sure that you're fueling your body correctly. So if you are someone who is ready to ditch the yo-yo dieting, quiet the food noise, and build a calm and confident relationship with food, I'd love to chat with you to see if it's a good fit to work together. Most of my clients feel completely in control around all foods and see massive reductions in food noise within 3 to 6 months. If you want to learn more, head to Instagram and DM me the word ready, or you can email me to learn more. Both of those links are below.